What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Farrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support. Hello and welcome in, friends, to another episode of Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. You can follow us everywhere in the universe. I'm on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333, or look us up, Mercado Airwaves Network. Download us anywhere you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. And a huge thank you to all our sponsors at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Would you like to see what we're up to behind the scenes? Give us a follow on Instagram, instagram.com/MikeMercado2333. Before we get to all the sports chatter, here's a quick message. What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Farrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support. Thank you for keeping it with us, friends. We would also like to thank our guys over at Munch Art Design in Chicago. You have any needs in graphic design, digital media, photography, illustration, visual image, check them out at Munch Art Design. Give them a like at Facebook or give them a call at 773-297-8290. Check out all their work at munchart.com. That's MUNCHART.com. It was an eventful week 2 in the National Football League. Why don't we take down the scores really fast in case you missed anything? Week 2 kicked off with the Bengals beating the Ravens 34-23. The Chiefs beat the Steelers 42-37. The Dolphins beat the Jets 20-12. The Buccaneers beat the Eagles 27-21. Saints over the Browns 21-18. Colts over the Washington Redskins 21-9. Chargers all over the Bills 31-20. Vikings, Packers end in a tie in overtime in a crazy game. Missed field goals. The story of the weekend, bunch of missed field goals. The Atlanta Falcons get back on the winning track, beating the Carolina Panthers 31-24. It is the Titans over the Texans 20-17. The Rams shut out the Arizona Cardinals 34-0. It is the 49ers 30, the Detroit Lions 27, starting off 0-2. The Broncos come back and beat the Raiders 2019. The Jaguars get the revenge over the Patriots 31-20. Cowboys on Sunday night beat the Giants 2013. And on Monday Night Football, the Bears in their home opener beat the Seattle Seahawks 24-17. So before we dig deep into what the Bears did on Monday night, why don't we just kind of look around the NFL in the Cincinnati Bengals Baltimore game. Kind of just crazy to see Andy Dalton go as crazy as he did. I mean, that was a pretty impressive showing on his end. 24 for 42, 265 yards and 4 touchdowns. The amazing part would be that would be the biggest story of the week when it came to a quarterback if it wasn't for Pat Mahomes, guys. 23 for 28, 326 yards and 6 touchdowns. Unbelievable. I mean, the Chiefs are at another level. I don't know how real they are in that sense. Obviously, their offense has always been great, and Andy Reid's one of the greatest coaches to do it in the modern era. I don't know how good Pittsburgh is without Le'Veon Bell. And it looks like Big Ben had himself a game too. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Like, I think a lot of people are kind of missing the fact that he threw 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost 500 yards. And that's crazy. It was a good game though. And if you're asking me right now, are the Chiefs real? I like the Chargers too. But you're going to score points on Kansas City. They're not going to stop anybody. But that offense, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, and then if you have Mahomes is the truth, it's a dangerous team. Dolphins, Jets, I guess Aaron Donald comes back to real life after that Monday Night Football game. Is that more of a how good the Jets were that game or how bad the Lions are? I mean, we'll find out as the weeks go on. The Dolphins still with another win, so interesting enough on their part. The Eagles and Buccaneers, Ryan Fitzpatrick, again, just who knew, right? 4 touchdowns, 400 yards, looking like Conor McGregor after the game. Some pretty good stuff. And then we found out that Carson Wentz will be returning to the Philadelphia Eagles for week 3. We'll get to that in just a little bit in their matchup. So Philadelphia trying to get back on track. So hard after you've made a postseason run. So we'll see how much they stick around. That division is up for grabs, though. So Philadelphia's right in the thick of it. We'll see what happens if they get Alshon back soon, too. The Saints come back and beat the Browns. The Browns missing a few field goals, and you feel bad. But that's just the way the league is right now. It just seems that the specialty has been taken away. There's not a lot of veterans. I forgot which broadcast team brought that up, but some interesting stuff. But the Saints not looking as good as we thought they were. Or at least I thought they were going to be. But Michael Thomas is a monster. Michael Thomas just went off on that game. 12 receptions, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a beast. He's just a beast. And he just catches everything that's thrown to him. Andrew Luck gets on the winning side. So that was a good sign on them. Nothing special, though. I'm waiting to see what happens with that Colts team. It's a tough division with Jacksonville and Houston. Chargers all over the Bills. I mean, first of all, the Bills might be the 3rd worst team in the NFL. So I just wanted to get into a little bit of Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon caught 2 touchdowns, and ran one in. Maybe the early, ridiculously early to even call MVP of the season. Really surprised what he's, and I'm not even saying that just because he's also on my 2 fantasy teams, which your boy did good on. Vikings, Packers tying at 29-29, taking a look at that. Just people are complaining that should there be ties in the NFL? You can't have these guys play forever, And to be quite honest, the fact that neither one of them were able to land a field goal or finish off this game, I mean, that's more their problem than it is a sport problem. That's a personnel problem. That's a league problem. That's not a sport problem. When it comes to Carolina, Atlanta coming back in there, you need to give Cam some weapons. I mean, Christian McCaffrey can't be the only guy that he's throwing it to. Your running back, who's not a running back. He's got no weapons. And then we see what happens with New England getting Josh Gordon, which we'll get to in just a second, but I thought Josh Gordon would be a great fit for Carolina. A deep threat, somebody that would get the ball, that would take pressure off of Cam. Why not? The Titans over the Texans. Blaine Gabbert with the win. I mean, we'll see. Marcus Mariota apparently had some nerve pain with this throwing shoulder, or at least one of his hands. I wasn't too sure on it. The Texans, I'm not too sure what's up with Houston. I really like Deshaun Watson. He was struggling, though, threw an interception, 22 for 32, 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. But you need to do more if you got Lamar Miller, 14 carries for only 68 yards. Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins did their part. 8 receptions, 6 receptions, each over 100 yards, each with a touchdown. So, they need to do more, though. 0-2. I was expecting more from them with Tennessee being 1-1 and as good as Jacksonville's been playing, and we'll get to Jacksonville in just a little bit and New England in just a little bit. Arizona 34 losing 34-0 like we said. The Rams are the real deal. They're a lot better than I thought they were going to be this time around. So, no, shout out to all you Rams fans who stuck with it and thought they were actually going to be this good. I didn't think they were going to bring it back over this much. So, nothing really much on the 49ers Lions. The Lions aren't that good. Raiders aren't that good. Case Keenum is actually pretty decent, though, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens in the West. We'll go to Giants Cowboys really fast on Sunday night. Dak coming out. Is the defense for real when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys? And then I wonder, with that New York Giants team, how big of a mistake was it not to get a quarterback? Eli's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I get it. But Eli's not great. You know what I'm saying? Like, Eli's not Phillip Rivers in the sense that you can see. I guess it's weird. Like, they're very comparable, but one does it so much more uglier than the other, and yet one has twice as many rings. Saquon Barkley is a hell of a stud. I don't know if I would have picked him at that point, but I guess next year you get a quarterback. You have your star running back, you have a star receiver, and you get a rookie quarterback. But you need an offensive line too to keep them upright. And in the surprise was just the dominance of Jacksonville. Blake Bortles having himself a nice game as Jacksonville beats the Patriots 31-20. The interesting thing was seeing how Gronkowski was absolutely shut down. Only 2 receptions, 15 yards. Jalen Ramsey was right, I guess. For now, we'll see what happens in the playoffs because it seems to change when playoffs come around. Blake Bortles stole 29-45, 377 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, without Leonard Fournette, Jacksonville is good. 2-0. They can run away with this division. That's how good they are. I don't see anybody beating them except for New England. And now with Josh Gordon, if he keeps his head straight, which we've seen players that quote unquote have difficult times go to New England and work out, man, that weapon with a Gronk and then Brady, I mean, that's dangerous. And on Monday night, showcase for that Bears defense. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, Danny Trevathan with 2 sacks. Khalil Mack with a sack. Prince Amukamara with the game-winning interception and a touchdown. I really liked how Roquan Smith looked out there with 7 tackles. He was very active. Khalil Mack disturbing all game long. Yeah, and shout out, though, to Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson. That touchdown, I think it was in the 4th quarter. Oh, my God. Wow. And that's another thing, too. They have no running backs in Seattle. Now 0-2 with the way the Rams look. And if Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners are for real, or at least decent enough, I think that time has come for Seattle. And this is what happens when you pay a quarterback. And you're going to see it eventually with the Bears if Mitchell Trubisky works out so well, which we saw 25 of 34, only 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. There were points where he looked like the number 1 quarterback taken in a draft. And then there's times where he looks like a bust. There's no in between. Like he is so polarizing when it comes to it. And then when you see what happened with Patrick Mahomes, and then you see the flashes that Deshaun Watson has, those 3 are always going to be compared to each other. And we're going to find out. We will. I mean, it could be like the Big Ben, Eli, Phillip thing. One of them might win all the rings. One of them might get into the Hall of Fame. One of them might be one of the greatest of all time. We don't know. But the fact is, what do your eyes tell you? There are points where Mitchell Trubisky looks really good. The athleticism is there. Running out of the pocket is there. Running on the throw looks great, and that was one of the high points that they had of him. And in this run-pass option kind of game that people are running right now, we're seeing it. I like Matt Nagy's offensive calls. I didn't like him so much in game 1 against the Packers where they lost, and you saw that comeback, and they were pretty conservative. But I still don't love all the reads that Trubisky is doing. I think he's too reliant on doing the counts on and checking the options. I don't know. I think it's interesting because if he's good enough, right? If he's just good enough, they can do some damage. That defense is good enough. I mean, they're going to be they're the top team in sacks. They're one of the top teams when it comes to rushing the quarterback, obviously. So they're getting pressure. I think it comes down to him. And we saw some signs. Jordan Howard looked pretty good, especially with the offense when it came to catching. We saw some very interesting formations, some very interesting lineups together. Taylor Gabriel looked fast. Trey Burton kind of showed up a little bit with 4 receptions and a touchdown, and that's what you're going to need from him. But he got involved in the offense. Jordan Howard with his hands, I think was a good sign. Tariq Cohen on special teams is one thing. Not seeing a lot of him on special teams on the offense, though, which is pretty interesting because I think we all thought he was going to be the Tyreek Cohen. It's still early, obviously, but him working his way into this offense, we haven't quite seen it yet. Allen Robinson with 10 receptions. I mean, good for him. Only 83 yards, no touchdown, but he's going to be a focal point of this offense. He really is. And, of course, that defense. I mean, Khalil Mack's a stud. I mean, he's the defensive player of the year already. We're 2 weeks in, and it's gonna take Aaron Donald all season to get there. Or Von Miller or whoever, pick your superstar. But I'm really pleased on what we saw from the Bears, if you're a Bears fan, on Monday night. And if you're a Seattle fan, there's things to be concerned about. Doug Baldwin's hurt. You have nobody to protect Russell Wilson. He was getting pummeled all day. And mind you, that's one of the best defensive fronts in the NFL. But still, that last interception to Prince Amukamara, that was huge. That was a mental mistake. He jumped that route, and I mean, he was, at least to me, from what I saw, he was eyeing down that receiver. So, interesting stuff in week 2, but why don't we go ahead and look into week 3 of the NFL? We got Thursday night in a barn burner, my friends. The Jets and the Browns. We have the Bills and the Vikings. The Giants take on the Texans. It is the Green Bay Packers at Washington. The 49ers visit the Chiefs. Start all your fantasy players on that game, guys. Raiders, Dolphins, Colts, Eagles, and the return of Carson Wentz. Titans, Jaguars, and a AFC South battle. That should be very interesting. Bengals, Panthers, Broncos, Ravens, Saints, Falcons, Chargers, Rams, in what is my game of the week. I cannot wait to see this matchup in LA. Shout out to all my friends in LA, but LA doesn't deserve 2 dope football teams like that. And especially when San Diego lost one. Shout out, I love San Diego. They're still my San Diego Chargers. The Bears and the Cardinals, here's another thing. If you're a Bears fan, this is such a great game post a big Monday Night Football win. You're coming off a short week now. You got some good film to study on, and you're playing a really, 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 really bad team, probably the worst team in the NFL. If you could keep David Johnson in check, and with an injured Larry Fitzgerald, and obviously Sam Bradford being Sam Bradford, so that's a nice way to start your season 2-1 if you do your job. Cowboys, Seahawks, and what probably is going to be America's game of the week. It's 2 organizations that are struggling that probably could have used Josh Gordon. And with New England getting him, it's kind of an interesting one. And we'll see that in New England because it's New England versus Detroit on Sunday Night Football. Things just get worse for Detroit. Probably going to start off 0-3. And now Josh Gordon comes into town for New England. And trust me, Josh Gordon's going to play. And on Monday night, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who would have thought that would be a primetime game to watch? Is there still magic with Ryan Fitzpatrick? We'll find out. Can the Steelers get back together? What if by some miracle Le'Veon Bell comes back? Should be interesting. But week 3 looks to be really fun. And you know what? And here's the thing. All the controversy, everything aside, even when we don't know all the rules and there's some weird, stupid stuff, the NFL, when it has a weekend like that, when there's a lot of offense, there's a lot of close games, there's just a lot of intensity, and the superstars show up to play, it's hard to beat, man. It's hard to beat.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson.
It's another day that the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Thank
buddy?
you, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
Looking for that new graphic design? How about somebody in digital media? A new photography, illustration, visual image, anything to get your brand popping? Visit our friends at Munch Art Design in Chicago. That's Munch Art Design. Give them a call at 773-297-8290. Check out their gallery at muncharts.com. That's MUNCHART.com. Or give them a like on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Graphic design, digital media, photography, illustration, visual image, all that and more with our friends at Munch Art Design in Chicago. And we just don't love football here on Sports from the Couch. We know full well it is a baseball playoff push in the city of Chicago, because I'll tell you one thing, these Milwaukee Brewers refuse to go anywhere. So before we get into a little bit of what I've been brewing in the mind about Javy Baez, who hit another home run yesterday that gave the Cubs a lead and a much-needed win to maintain their 2.5-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers, why he's the MVP. But that's a different conversation in just a little bit. In the National League, we will go to the East. First, the Braves with a 6.5-game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies. The Cubs have a 2.5-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers. The LA Dodgers with a half-game lead over the Colorado Rockies. And right now, if we were to do our wild card, it looks like the two wild card teams would be the Colorado Rockies and the Milwaukee Brewers. So it would be an interesting one-game playoff. And the Milwaukee Brewers, who have the second-best record in the National League, just struggling right now. And actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm looking at it right now. It looks to me that the St. Louis Cardinals at 83 wins would be the second wild card team. So the NL Central, after all that, might end up having 3 teams in the playoffs. That's unbelievable. And, you know, the big thing has been the Cubs are in a 5-5 stretch. They've been playing 30 games in 30 nights. It's been crazy. You've had the Brewers go 7-3 in those last games. And this is that time where a team like, let's say, Arizona, who just a week ago was right in the division lead, went 2-8 in the last 10. And in baseball, that's what it takes. It's 1 week. One bad week does that. And it's crazy to me that we've gotten to that point. You know, that we're already here and nothing has been decided except in the American League. And you know, we'll jump into the American League standings right now. But if you look at what, you know, the Yankees have 91 wins, and they're not even close in their division. But with that in mind, in the AL East, it's the Red Sox at 103 wins, having an 11.5-game lead over the 91-58 New York Yankees. In the AL Central, the Indians with an 83-66 record have a 14.5-game lead over the Minnesota Twins. And just to let you know, the AL Central is the worst division I've ever seen in baseball. Look at this. The Minnesota Twins, 69-81. The Detroit Tigers, 61-89. The Chicago White Sox, 59-90. Kansas City Royals, 52-98. I thought the White Sox might win 70 games. Unbelievable, that division. AL West, you have the Astros at 94-56 with a 4-game lead over the Oakland Athletics. You know, the Seattle Mariners kind of fall back at the end of this run with a 83-67 record, 11 games back. But as of right now, it looks like the Athletics and the Yankees would be your representatives in the wild card game. And how about that? The Oakland Athletics, who have been 7-3 in their last 10 as well, and still haven't been able to gain that much room because the Astros just went 7-3 as well. But look at the AL, though. I mean, we'll get into the National League in just a second, but, you know, everything is so competitive in the National League, right? The Cubs have not been able to shake off Milwaukee. They have not been able to shake off St. Louis. They've maintained, but they haven't been able to shake them off. Look at the Red Sox. They've gone 7-3 in their last 10 with 103 wins. But I'm telling you right now, and I called it back when we had our baseball special with our friend of the show, Paul Shivari. I don't think the Red Sox are getting out of the ALDS. I truly don't think so. And that to me is fascinating, that idea that they're going to be the best team in baseball. I don't think they're getting to their championship series. I think they could get got in a 5-game series. But we'll see. I mean, I've been wrong there. But really fast, I wanted to get into the MVP race. So I guess the question is it Christian Yelich or is it Javier Baez? Right? Like, you can try to bring up so many different people. I mean, Matt Carpenter has been one. Freddie Freeman has been another. Nolan Arenado has been one. And then obviously Javi and Christian Yelich. Some might even put Paul Goldschmidt in there, who's always a candidate, just like when Joey Votto is healthy. But to me, it comes down to two guys. It comes down to Javi Baez and it comes to Christian Yelich, right? You can take all the sabermetrics you want. You could take all the batting averages, home runs, anything, any number you want, right? They're all going to be comparable to each other. You can make an argument for who looks better, who's been more impactful. At the end of the day, the two best teams in the National League have been the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs. The two best players on those teams have been Christian Yelich and Javi Baez. Christian Yelich has the advantage of being brought in. So we saw the impact he made coming onto that Milwaukee Brewers team. And then we've seen with the Chicago Cubs with the injuries of Chris Bryant, Jason Hayward, Anthony Rizzo. There wasn't pitching. There was pitching. Javi Baez has been the consistent, and he plays defense. So my question to you, the baseball fan, is who do you give it to? And why? I can sit here and tell you, I'm not trying to say I'm a diehard Cub fan. But when the microphone turns on, the fact remains you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with what the situation is. And, Javi has some great numbers. Has an, top 5 OPS. Over 30 home runs. One of the best defensive players in the league. Right? But Christian Yelich is there too. And he just hit for the cycle. But I'm fascinated to know what you guys think who will end up winning the MVP. So let us know on Twitter at mmercado2333 or give us a like on Facebook and drop it down on the comment section below at Mercado Airwaves.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
All right, friends, before we check up on your funny Bears comments over pre, post, and during the Monday Night Football game, let's go really fast into Canelo versus Triple G. My thoughts, I'm going to keep it pretty plain and simple, friends. I thought the first one was some of the biggest BS that's ever happened in boxing. Triple G won the first fight. Triple G dominated, had ring control, landed more punches, damaged Canelo more. I've said it over and over again. I'm sick of talking about it. Triple G won that first fight. Then you have this whole controversy of the steroid tacos with Canelo, okay? fight gets pushed back from May into what ended up being this past weekend. Triple G has a fight in between there. Doesn't look all that great. Wins, but doesn't look all that great. Doesn't look like Triple G that we know, right? And then we get to this fight. And I'll be honest with you, I was going there a little cynical. I was a little upset about it. And the first time I watched it, I was a little surprised. I was like, you know what? I felt a little icky about it. So I woke up the next morning, got to the studio, and watched it again. Here's my assessment at the end of it. Triple G, Golovkin won the boxing match. He won by points. He won by technicality. He was the better boxer that night. Canelo won the fight. Canelo looked the part. And that's the point. You even heard it in the broadcast, which I thought was a little pro Canelo, and I'm a Canelo fan. But which I thought was trying maybe a little harder to sell that fight than they were the first one. But I think, truth be told, the fact of the matter was Triple G needed to do certain things to win. Canelo needed to do certain things to win. Canelo was the only one that answered. Triple G started letting go those bombs from like round 9, 10, 11, and 12. He dominated those last rounds. But everything before that kind of just seemed like Triple G was going with Canelo's program. And the biggest problem we had with Canelo the first fight is that he was kind of fighting back, fighting off the ropes, trying to be a counter fighter. He was attacking. He was moving forward. Even when he was getting clipped, he was moving forward. And that's why he won this fight. Because it looked, and trust me, Triple G was hurting him at the end of that fight. But Triple G never put him away. And maybe if he went another round, maybe if this was Rocky and it wins 15 rounds, he puts him down. Probably. But Canelo did enough to look like he won the fight. And I always put it to this. It's like an incumbent. You just don't beat them. You got to beat them decisively for people to be confident in you. And that's what happened here. The younger fighter, the more promotable fighter, the bigger star is Canelo. And he's the one that won the first one already by the judge. He lost the first fight, but it was a draw. This one could have been easily way more of a draw, but he's the incumbent. He's the one you got to beat. You have to beat him. And it's never that easy that they're just going to give it to you, especially by decision, unless it's a straight ass kicking. And this wasn't. And here's the other thing. This was a close fight. Yeah, there was a lot of jabs, but the reason Triple G threw so many jabs is because he was being the counter fighter. Canelo was attacking. And when people are judging, when it's left up to humans to judge, that's what you get. And especially in a little bit of a corrupt sport like boxing. So then the question is, do we want to see part 3? We're going to, because that's where the money is. And that's the only thing to go to. But what do we need it for? What are you going to learn? What are you going to see that you haven't seen already? There's nothing there for you in that fight that we haven't seen before. And then obviously with this Mayweather news with Pacquiao, I mean, Mayweather knew exactly what he was doing. He was, sucking up a little bit of that energy, that goodwill that was going towards boxing. And nobody wants to see Pacquiao Mayweather 2. But a healthy Pacquiao and enough promotion, they might just sell that crazy. They might just sell it. They might just make a few bucks off of that. Who would have thought, huh? Of course, we are just counting down to Khabib versus Conor. And obviously, hopefully, we're working with the fine folks of New York City to try to find somebody on that card. And we can interview them here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. And before we get out of here, it is time to look at some of our amazing, amazing posts that you guys put up during the Bears pregame, postgame, and during Monday Night Football. Here's one. I can't take any Bears fan seriously that considers Fox and logins a learning experience for Trubisky. That's a good one. Trubisky is absolutely terrible. Get him off the effing field. There were times where I did not like what Trubisky was doing. But then there were times where one of the things that I noticed was his hard count is really good. Like if he becomes a true dangerous threat when it comes to throwing down the field, he might be something. Hashtag in Mac we trust. Hashtag bear down. Hashtag Chicago Bears. Hashtag Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's a disturbance in the force. Nice. There we go. It's the new Bears. Let's go. Bear down. Hashtag 52. Yeah, definitely Khalil Mack has taken over Chicago. All right, so we have some more. I'm really worried for Matt Stafford when we see the Chicago Bears. Yeah, he is going to, he's going to do some stuff to quarterbacks in this division. It's going to be interesting to see how they game plan for him. I don't know much about football, but I feel like I can tell the good and bad players are when I watch a game. And I labeled Prince Amukamara bad and washed up like 4 years ago when he was with the New York Giants. So it's kind of weird that he's a starting corner for the Chicago Bears. Not just a starting corner, but been doing some stuff since he became a Chicago Bear. So shout out to him. Here's from a friend of the show and one of our favorites, Jason Goff. God, I wish Doug was alive for many reasons. Least of all is to see this dude play linebacker for the Chicago Bears. Talk about Doug Buffon, former Chicago great. And I think everybody please enjoy the fact that you're watching. You know, we all enjoyed watching Brian Urlacher do it. And this guy's just on another level. This guy is somebody that we've never seen. He's a unicorn. He's essentially a unicorn. All right. And let's do one more. My God, the Chicago Bears won a football game. That wasn't a very good overall performance, but beggars can't be choosers for now. Hashtag bear down. That is so true. And you know what? A win is a win is a win is a win, especially in the National Football League. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. And as always, thank you for making us a part of your day. You can support us everywhere. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Follow me on Twitter at mmercado2333. If you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow me on Instagram, Mike Mercado2333. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves Network. If you would like to support us, just go to patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. You get all our interviews with athletes and celebrities ad-free and before anybody else. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. And of course, download us, rate, review, and share anywhere you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. You're into sports, true crime, pop culture, life, and anything in between, we got you covered at the Mercado Airwaves Network. Thank you to each and every one of you. We will see you on the next episode of Sports from the Couch here on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
How
buddy?
you, sir? I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on.
Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mike Mercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, Mike Mercado2333. Thanks for listening.